Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. And we have been speaking a lot about how Google Ads uses AI and machine learning algorithms and how Google is helping advertisers to gain the maximum that they can gain out of the ad accounts. And sometimes we may find it a little confusing to understand what actually goes in the back end, and we may not really understand what AI doing its job in the back end means when it comes to Google Ads. So what I've done is I've taken one of the use cases, which is audience targeting, and how Google Ads efficiently, if you can be a little cautious with certain things, can work to your advantage when it comes to audience targeting using AI methodologies, and how you can maximize that with whatever you can do in your Google Ads purview is all this session is going to talk about. Now, what you see on your screen is men at work, where physically men or women, in fact, had to go through the daily rigmarole of optimizing Google ad campaigns in the past, is no longer going to be the game because AI has changed it all. So AI basically took out all the redundant activities from your daily routines, and it has replaced it with algorithms that can do the job for you. Now, the situation where we had to go and look at optimizing everything day in day out, including the minute tasks, is going to be extinct now. AI actually working to your advantage in helping you optimize these ad campaigns. And typically what happens when AI helps you is it helps you in two ways. One is to gather insights and to implement the insights that it has collected. Right now, these insights can be based upon a lot of things, a lot of data points, a lot of metrics, a lot of areas where Google has a solid grip on the data that it can collect. It has collected those insights, runs it through the algorithms. That is what AI talks about. And once your ad campaigns are exposed to these algorithms, the algorithms give you some insights whether you can go ahead and implement, or it can automatically implement for you, provided you want to go ahead with those changes. Basically, AI powered targeting works in two ways. One, at the first level, it gathers the data, it collects the insights from various metrics, it analyzes the behavior of the users across the internet, and then at level two, it helps you implement those changes or recommendations. Now, this could be your demographic data, where it collects data from the demographic information. It could collect data from logged in users. It could collect data from the customer data that Google already has, and it could also collect data from proprietary data that Google has access to, whether it is first party data or third party data at this point in time. And it gathers insights from all these available metrics, and then it passes it through the algorithms, and the algorithms can implement those changes for you if you want to go ahead with those. So now, if you talk with respect to the Google ad campaigns that we are talking about, and how audience targeting works with these campaigns, all the insights and recommendations that you see on your Google Ads account is all the Google ad accounts are given these are give you these insights and recommendations. Now, this insights is a page on your Google Ads account, and recommendations is a tab where you can go ahead and look at what are all the insights that Google has collected for you, and what is it recommending to you. Is it recommending to change the budgets? Is it recommending to add few keywords, remove few keywords, change your bidding strategy, whatever that is? And all these are a part of your level one automation, level one AI. And at the second level, you can go ahead and apply these changes if you go ahead and click the apply button. Now, when I say, and you may be surprised about why I used the word caution, because caution is a strong word. So I would strongly recommend everybody to exercise caution, because you cannot blindly apply all the suggestions that Google is giving you, because these are based on AI, and AI only learns the data from that you have given. Now, the data that you have given, maybe you have included wrong set of keywords, right? So the data and the recommendations are going to be wrong because they're based out on incorrect or irrelevant data. So in these cases, you need to be cautious about what to use and what not to use. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, though you may not realize it, your audience targeting and the AI powered audience targeting is working in the backend. And because the results of that work is what is seen in your insights and recommendations tab. It is not some kind of magic that Google knows about you, knows about your business, and it automatically recommends. It is looking at the algorithms, are looking at the data that your accounts are providing the algorithm with. Based out of that is what this data is being generated. So bottom line, even if you do not realize, and if you do not see any big activity happening on your face when it comes to Google Ads, when it comes to audience targeting, it is already happening in the backend. So AI and audience management with respect to Google Ads basically broadly falls under three categories. One is the segmentation aspect of it. The second is the targeting aspect, and the performance analysis and positioning aspect. So this can be considered as one, two, and three steps where all the data that you have given is being segmented first. And what data are we talking about, right? That is where your data collection comes into picture. So Google collects data from your Google Ads account, and once the data is collected, that is being segmented. Now, where is Google getting this data from? Google is getting it from Google's proprietary data. It may be customer data, it may be web activity of the users, it may be third party data, it may be user generated content, right? Now, user generated content could be the email IDs and the first party data that they have provided you with. Now, web activity can be tracked by installing cookies or cookie based data. Customer data is what users have already given you. Google's data is Google's proprietary data that it already has, right? So, based upon all these data points, the data is being collected. Once the data is collected, that is when the data is going to be segmented based upon different categories that the algorithm sees fit. Now, we will look at an example, but let's say once the data is segmented, that is when the algorithm goes ahead and predicts what may be working for you and what may perform to your advantage. Once that is done, that is when you create targeted ads and show to each of these segments that you have divided. And that results in generating lookalike data. It looks at behavioral data, targeting, demographic data, interest based data, contextual based data, right? Once you have done that, that is when performance analysis starts. And that is when Google analyzes what is working, what is not working, and then it gives you the insights and recommendations, right? All right, so basically let's streamline these things. Now, once data is collected in from various sources that Google has access to, segmentation begins. Let's say your audience is segmented into segment 1, segment 2, and segment 3, right? Now, based upon the predictions, Google sees that your segmented audiences can perform with a bid B1 for segment 1, bid B2 for a segment 2, and bid B3 for a segment 3. And it also identifies certain areas in terms of targeting the kind of users, targeting the kind of audiences, and what their behaviors are. It can go ahead and predict you some suggestions. Now, if you decide to go ahead with that, and let's say I have created A1, first set of ads for segment 1, A2, second segment, A3 is third segment of ads for the segment 3. Then you start mapping these ads to respective segments, which means the audience you have classified under segment 1 will see the ads which are A1 category, and A2 goes to S2, and the ad category A3 goes to the segment 3, which you have classified. Now, this may be different categories. Now, this may be men's clothes, this may be women's clothes, and this may be children's clothing. Now, this ad will only talk about men's clothing, this ad will talk about women's clothing, this ad will talk about children's clothing, right? Now, what just happened here is basically your AI has told you what the segments would be to help you gain the maximum out of your budgets and your Google ad account settings. And then it helped you make some predictions, and it also helps you to come up with appropriate ads to appeal more to these audiences, right? Now, once this is all done, that is when it will start looking at performance metrics, and it will start analyzing the data to further get some more insights as to what may be working for you. And then you can make those tweaks, and then the learnings will flow into the system again, and you can start making changes or recommendations. And this is an iterative process. So all this is happening day in, day out on your Google Ads account, though you don't realize it. So that is one reason you should be very, very, very interested, in fact, and you should be getting your hands dirty in experimenting all these things. And this is one of the strongest use cases of how AI-based audience targeting is already happening, and most of the advertisers do not have the right mindset to think about. So now let's take an example. Now, the example is, let's say you have a new clothing line and you want to sell your line of clothes to your audiences, right? So based upon the stages that we have seen, Google has certain amounts of data that is collected. Now, once this data collection stage is over, now you can segment your audiences, let's say men's clothing, women's clothing, and let's say children's clothing. And based upon the predictions that Google is suggesting you write a set of targeted ads. Let's say targeted ad 1, 2, and 3. Now, 1 is talking about men's clothing, so that will go to this segment. 2 will be showcased to this particular segment. Now, 3 will be showcased to this particular segment. So that is how you will write customized ads for the targeting that Google has used AI to tell you what is the best for your to achieve your goal, and that is how audience targeting works, is already working in Google Ad accounts, and that is why you should pay more attention to the kind of keywords that you use, the kind of ads that you create, because it is all going back into the system, and this is how AI is helping your audience targeting in Google Ads, even if you don't realize it. Thank you so much. I've put together a complete course on Google Ads and how it works, including the latest AI developments and how you need to develop a new mindset. Link in the description. See you on the other side.